Good morning, friends. Good morning, good morning. I feel like you're a little bit low there. It's a bit better. I spent the last 5 or 6 minutes doing my best to try to find the angle in which the sun wasn't either glaring in your eyes or glaring in my eyes. I suppose that's a pretty privileged thing, to have so much beautiful sunshine that I need to rearrange my live video in order to do it. Hey, I have a question for you. Obviously, to my peeps out there in Victoria, Melbourne, who are having some pretty hectic lockdown situations, my mates over in New Zealand, and then just, the rest of the country and the world, how are you self-caring right now? I would love for you to just leave a comment on how you're actually looking after yourself in this difficult time. What is it that you're doing at the moment? And it could be nothing. You might not have any self-care ideas. But if you are somebody who does have self-care stuff, I would love for you to know. Write it down, pop it in the comments, because this sharing the love. Maybe you haven't thought about one way to self-care and you're thinking about another way to self-care. Good morning, Anne. So how do you self-care? What is it that you're doing in these crazy times? For me, sunshine is huge in terms of my self-care. Can't always get that because it's not always up to me to get self-care with the sunshine, but certainly being outside if I can, even if it means I have to rug up nice and warm down south. How do you self-care? Share the love. I would love for you to hear. I get sunshine, I meditate, I ground. Sometimes I just need to sleep. That's super important to me. Connect with friends, absolutely, and definitely moving my body and eating really well. Yeah, Jasmine says the sun is huge. Yeah, it kind of does something to my pituitary gland. I think that's what it is, and it just makes me it almost warms my soul up from the inside. Sort of all kind of it came to me this morning as I was lying in bed. I had this real big realization, and I shared it with my Self-Love Awakening Collective. They're part of an 8-week course that we just finished, and I just wanted to remind everybody that, fear, self-doubt, overthinking, all that, kind of negativity is really easy to slip into. Super easy. Even if you've been practicing it for years and years and years, it is a very easy thing to be sucked back into a space in which fear takes over. And I really want to remind you of that, so that you don't have to be so harsh on yourself. That when you find yourself being negative, when you find yourself being in a space of, oh, I'm not liking myself, or when you're criticizing your body or judging the world around you or yourself, it's something for you to realize that it happens to all of us. And hey, I teach this for a living. This is what I do. And yes, I am human. So for me as well, I experience falling into the trap of self-hate, of negativity, of really fear. That's what comes up for me quite significantly these days, is more around fear. Mary, nice to have you here. I greet my baby plants at the start of the day. Oh, that's really sweet. I think that's a really lovely way to do it. Nice, beautiful self-care. Love that. Fear has their way. When I say fear, I kind of want to just separate it for a second here for a moment, because fear, what I'm describing for the purpose of this video, is that it's that kind of that mind in us, that worry. The worry, the person who, we're constantly thinking about the future. We're worried about what might happen. It's like, what if? We're in fear. That might happen, it might not happen. It's that kind of sense of impending doom that happens within our body. Anxiety can be associated with it. Depression can be associated with it. From a really heavy dose of that to a really mild dose of that as well. So that's when I say fear, that's what I kind of mean. I kind of mean that we're going into unconsciousness. We're going into a space of smallness within our being. Because up here, our ego, our small mind, is useful and necessary. If you've watched any of my other videos, I talk about the ego and how important it is for us to be able to function in the world as a human, but that we're so much more than that. We are a bigger being. We are so much more than our mind and our beliefs and our thoughts and our body. Yet it's super easy for us to forget that. Incredibly easy for us to forget that. And we end up getting caught in this trap up here. Get caught in the trap to believe that we are just our thoughts. We believe that we are just our beliefs. We believe that we are just our feelings. And this is what I mean by getting caught in our head. We get caught in our head and we get trapped. And in that moment, that's where we feel a lot of pain. Certainly where I feel a lot of pain, when I can't get out of my head, when my head is just going over and over and over again into like worry and doubt and negative thoughts, and I don't feel connected to everything, is when I'm the most unhappy. When I'm the most happy is when I'm connected, when I remember that I am the all that is, when I remember that we are all connected, that there is sunshine and there are things to be grateful for. That's when I feel best, when I'm existing from like a heart-centered consciousness rather than a mind-centered consciousness. And a way that I almost look at this is that, you know, up in our head, our mind-centered consciousness is that fear and that worry. And in our heart-centered consciousness, that's our soul and that's love. You see, the mind is absolutely designed to seek out problems. That's its job. That's how it keeps us safe. It keeps us safe by finding all the problems in the world. It's very good at that. It will tell you to cross the street if you see a bunch of hoodlums. It'll tell you to not take that job offer. It'll take you to red flag with your partner. Whether or not you actually pay attention to it is a whole different kettle of fish. But it's designed to seek problems. It's cruising around looking for problems all the time. And if you do not keep a check on the mind, it will convince you that your whole world is full of problems. Jasmine just said it's hard to see the beauty when they're negative all around, especially during this time. Yeah, Jasmine, and that's the thing, you know, there is always beauty and there is always ugliness. And I agree with you. I think that it's easy to be sucked back in. Very, very easy. And I want you to kind of take this from a point of view of like actually being sucked back in. Or like the way that I want to describe it is falling back asleep. It's like when we're asleep, when we're in unconsciousness, the collective fear and worry and doubt seeps into our being, and that's who we become. And we need to keep like waking ourselves up to the reality, excuse me, and the reality being that there is love and there is connection and there is sunshine and there is, you know, there is so much more than our thoughts. But we need to wake ourselves up. I don't know if anybody here is a meditator. If you are, send us a thumbs up or a love heart or something if you've meditated before in your life. In meditation, they will often tell you that your mind will wander off. Your mind will wander off, and the whole practice of mindfulness and meditation is about bringing your mind back to your breath. Back to your breath. And what I notice with fear and doubt, when I notice with this kind of negativity, is that it's as though every single moment of human existence is a meditation. For us to bring our mind back to the center that we are so much more than what we think that we are. We are so much more than our mind. We are so much more than just our bodies in this existence. Bringing ourselves back to love. Oh, I've noticed I'm in fear. I'm going to bring myself back to love. Oh, I'm in fear. I'm bringing myself back to love. And it doesn't mean that we don't have concerns or that we don't have to look out for danger when we have love in our life. It doesn't mean that everything magically goes away and there are no problems. But it means that we're not making up a whole bunch of problems. Or we're not believing that you know, like me sitting there, oh God, the sun's in the wrong angle, hurting my eyes and not making my live video go very well. That's not a problem. Then most of our things in our life are not actually problems. Our mind's making it up. Mary's gone, I'm getting red flags at work and I'm working on connecting to the love today. Yes. And Jasmine, coming back to what you said before, connect to the love. The more that we collectively connect to the love, the more that there is love in the world for other people to connect to. So I wish that for us. I wish that we like wake up constantly throughout the day. You know, wake up out of the unconsciousness of fear and come into the consciousness of love. And remember, remind yourself. And this is much for me as well. Remind myself as I sat here this morning going, I made a prayer or an intention and saying, I wish to remind myself that I am love. I wish to remember who I truly am, because just this being in this body right now, we are so much more than that. We are love, infinite love. And when we remind ourselves of that, we can come back to a space of connectedness and actually deal with our world and our life so much more clearer than what we would had we try to kind of plod along from this state of fear in our mind. Remember, our mind and our fear is our small self. Our heart and our soul is our big self, our expanded self. And that's where our truth is. That's what our truth is. Falling into the mind and the fear is really super easy. Keep waking up, keep remembering that you are so much more than just your small self. Come back to love today. Just make that your intention, make that your mantra. I come back to love. I come back to love. I return to love. I am love. I am love, the love I am. I am love, love I am. Remind yourself of that. Mary, I hope that you come back to love and that your red flags, you adhere to them and pay attention to what you need to. Big love to you all. May you find love today. May you notice your love today, because it's there. Even with you, Jasmine, there is a lot of love. There is a lot of beauty in the world right now. You just need to go looking for it. You are love, Jasmine. Exactly. There you already are. You're already there, Jasmine. That's the thing. When we remember that we are love, we don't need to go seek out to go find it. We just need to reconnect with the love that's inside of us. Notice, you could notice, oh, I've noticed that I'm choosing fear right now. I now choose love because I am love. You are love. We are all love. We are all the same source of the infinite love that is. And that's how we return to a place of love within inside of ourselves. Big love to you, my beauties. Thank you for those who have joined me here live and for those who have been watching afterwards. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here. Coming up on the 1st of October, the new Self-Love Awakening Collective is beginning. So it's an 8-week course returning you to love, giving you the tools and the tricks to be able to learn how to deal with your mind, how to actually come to a place where you master your language. How do you become open-hearted and to kind of defeat what it's like when you're being pushed into fear the whole time. I will teach you about boundaries. I will show you how to communicate really effectively with those around you. I will help you get back into your body to reconnect and learn how to trust your inner guidance. It's an 8-week online course. There's only 11 actually now. There's only 11 spots available. So hey, leave me a message. Shoot me through a DM if you're interested in the Self-Love Awakening Collective. I would so love to have you there. It's a beautiful jam. Last session there's so much wonderful things. You get one-on-one coaching from me, coach healing from me throughout the course, as well as a really private WhatsApp group where we share all the love and do lots of beautiful things. So I would love to have you there. So let me know. I hope to see you there soon. Just let me know if you have questions. We can have a chat. There's no pressure. If you want to come, then let's have a yarn and I can tell you more about it. Big love to you. See ya.